Yo, what up, what up? Welcome back. Your host B. Ryder, co-host
J. Bell.
and this is
Final Thoughts.
Today's topic, what is masculinity? Let's check it out.
Historically, being a man was rooted in patriarchy and misogyny. And now we realize how harmful that has been over the years. And so we don't really know how to define where we're supposed to be. And I think the reason that they're saying there's a crisis is because the box has gotten so small for just being, say, straight, just being a hetero, right? Because if you do anything, women judge you.
What do you mean anything?
If I dance a certain way, or if I wear my hair a certain way, if I dress a certain way, they go, real men don't do that. Real men don't do that. And so you get scared to move a certain way because you don't want to get judged or outed out of the accepted part of your community. And I think that kind of has us in an uproar and we don't know where to be. Like, where's the safe place to be for men now? You know what I mean? And it's kind of disturbing.
Can you define toxic masculinity? Like,
I would say toxic masculinity is like what he was just saying, where you're using that leadership role or that aggressive nature in a harmful way to harm other people, to get your way.
I think everybody sort of has a different definition of toxic masculinity. I don't find masculinity toxic in and of itself, but I do believe in bad men and bad men exist. But does that mean every man is toxically masculine? No.
So. It was actually a really good conversation.
It was an awesome conversation. And
really good.
You know, for our show, we have to abbreviate things, right? But I really, really, really recommend that you watch the entire thing. It is good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's a
good.
good conversation. We'll leave the link to the conversation in the description, but y'all definitely check that one out.
Yeah. So we gonna start it out hot. We coming out hot. What is masculinity?
Anyone? You? Anyone? You?
To you.
Well, B. Ryder defines masculinity. It's a tough one. Well, actually, to me, it's not that tough because I kind of fall in line with, I guess, the rest of society in that I see certain things as masculine. Having a strong personality, being strong-willed, maybe slightly aggressive, or these type of things that we naturally think of. To me, I would find masculine. That doesn't mean that they are specifically assigned to masculinity, but when I think about masculinity, that's what I think about. I think about maybe a strong-willed man who he doesn't necessarily have to be loud or aggressive, but he can be demure or doting, right?
Yeah.
Because there is such thing as the silent man, right? What do they call that? Silent, but
deadly. That's not what.
No, not silent.
What?
Not that.
That's the.
But
I'm sorry, I have a dark mind.
There's a word for it, like a more brooding man, but who you still clearly see as a masculine man.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't have to be the center of attention, but he's still that masculine man. So,
yeah.
But this is why I kind of feel like it's it's hard to assign it strictly to one zone in that regard. But what do you think is a masculine man?
I think that a masculine man is doggone spragging.
Peak of masculinity, right?
And Ray Harry. That's it.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
That's it.
Balls.
Nah, I'm messing with y'all. What I think a masculine man is,
or just masculinity.
Masculinity. Okay, yeah. Masculinity.
What is masculinity?
You're a protector, you're a provider, you're a leader, and You show emotion. You do. You're allowed to show emotion as in masculinity, but to a certain extent, right? So you can't be crying all the time and all that kind of stuff.
I can't stop crying.
You can cry at a funeral. You know, you can do that. You can cry when things are really, really terrible or sad or something like that. But at the core, I feel like you should be strong. You should be the pillar. Everyone looks up to you as, you know, and they get their strength from you. I think that's what masculinity embodies.
Right.
And I only say that because that's the way I look at myself. I look at myself as a masculine man. And that's how I identify. And that's who I am to my family. I'm a pillar, you know. And it's almost like, think about it like this. The first superhero that you ever seen,
Captain Hindsight, the hero of the modern age.
and you admire that. And I'm mostly talking to men, right? Most of us, our superheroes came from our dad, our grandfather, or if we didn't have anything, if we didn't have those, it was our uncles. You know, our first superheroes, those guys that we looked up to, they were a pillar of masculinity. And we measured ourselves compared to them.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. It was the same for me. Like, there were men in my life that I was like, I want to be that
yeah.
when I grow up. That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
You know?
But what was it when you saw them operating in, like how they say, masculine energy? Right. What was it about them that made you be like, you know what, I want to be like him?
I guess for me it was the assurity that I saw.
Yeah.
Watching that and being like, they look like they know what they're doing here.
Absolutely.
They know what's going on.
Yes.
I like that aspect because especially at a time when you're vulnerable and you don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And you're uncertain, you're unsure about yourself. Seeing somebody who knows what to do is an assuring thing.
You are correct, sir.
So the men who I saw in my life that I looked up to, my uncles or whatnot, became the men who I wanted to emulate. Like, I wanted to be as certain as this person was. I wanted to be as in control of the situation as this person that I saw, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what it became for me.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So we both kind of like fleshed through that.
Right.
So
the idea of masculinity.
when does it become toxic?
Here we go.
we gotta touch that.
Yeah, we gotta touch.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Is toxic masculinity a thing? Sure. I think anything, no matter what anybody tells you, anything can be toxic if there's too much of it or if it goes the wrong way. Right. That's literally what makes something toxic. Right. Something you put into your body the same way. If there's too much of it, it becomes a toxin.
You smart.
So, as far as toxic masculinity goes, I think that it varies in different ways. Maybe telling a young boy, that they should never cry is toxic to me. The road that you're sending them down is one that is gonna be tough for them if they cannot show that emotion. I think part of our toxic masculinity is not having valuable discourse with each other. Like, for some reason, like straight males, we have an issue with like opening up with each other.
Yeah.
You know? And this is something that women do very, very well. I have to applaud them for that. And that they can be very open and honest with each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have discussions about their feelings. Men, we don't even do that. We get straight to the point. What's going on? I was at Tony's house. He said this, and I punched that nigga, and I broke out.
Damn.
And that was what happened, right?
Yeah.
But we don't get involved into the emotion of how what he said hurt me. And I was like, wow, this is my best friend doing, like, you know what I'm saying? We don't delve into that as much as women do, right? And I think part of that becomes toxic in a way, and where that we see crying as feminine, but we don't see anger as feminine.
I wonder why that is.
Right?
Because it's aggressive.
Right.
Like you said in your definition before.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Right? And I think that that's kind of part of the issue is that, like when we say that a man shouldn't be emotional, right? But anger is a freaking emotion.
It is.
Thank you.
Why are we allowed to feel that? Why are we so allowed to express our anger, but we're not allowed to express our sorrow? You know?
Because that's what's agreed upon in society. So, like when we talk about these type of things, we have to also include women involved. Like we probably could talk to each other in a way that's, you know, I'm opening up.
Yeah.
But the fear of a woman finding out or women hearing of this is so much greater than opening up to begin with. You know, hey, man, this boy B came to my house crying,
Huh?
whining,
What?
wilding,
Get him.
probably spazzing.
Damn.
Probably.
Over his girl. And she like, man, what's wrong with him? I'm like, what? I don't know. This is crazy. Like the proper response would be like, well, damn, he's hurt. Like,
Right.
Did you console him? Like, did you make sure he was good? The response is usually like, you know, he's weak.
Yes.
And it plays into the like us being toxic towards each other because we don't want to seem weak in front of women
What up, G? You can handle it.
That's a major
and men.
part. That's a major part of it, yeah.
And it's more so women
Yeah.
because we're scared that it'll get out.
That's true.
You know, you was weak in front of your girl, and and it shouldn't be like this. We have a song out, not we, but there's a song out. Me and my woman, we cried together. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Who sings that?
oh shoot, I don't know.
I don't know who
But me and my woman, we cried together. Yeah.
That's terrible.
And I'm like, dude, this came out a while back.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
You know?
Yeah.
But you don't get to experience that in real life. That's just a song.
Yeah.
You don't get to experience that in real life.
Yeah. There's a lot of it makes you wonder where it makes me reflect on the differences between men and women in that way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it seems like women do things for each other and for themselves, and men do things for women.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
Right? And that's what it comes off as. So
Yeah.
we'll do things, even stupid things,
Yep.
for the validation that comes with women. We buy cars, nice fancy looking cars, not because we give a shit about cars, but because we know that women like nice cars, you know? But that ends up where we are. But the toxicity just in that alone, about not caring about what your brother thinks about you versus what a woman does, right? I think there's a level of toxicity in that in itself. And there's a level of toxicity in that on the other side as well. But I think it makes us look past each other a lot and not be able to see the struggle that the other side is going through, you know?
Yeah, I get that completely. And, you know, I'm not going to take up too much of y'all time. But I think that if you don't want us to be toxic, you have to be more inviting to us being vulnerable. Right? You have to allow us to operate in that kind of space. Like, you want us to protect and provide and allow you to operate in your femininity. And a lot of y'all are attracted to masculinity. Let's not do that whole thing where masculinity is inherently toxic, because it's not.
Right.
You're attracted to it. You know what it is when you see it. Like a guy said on the show that we said, we don't know how to define it, but you know what it looks like when you see it.
You do.
Right? Whether it's toxic or not. And that's valid, and it's true to me. I don't know about you and everybody else, but it's true to me when he said that. And I'm like, yo, you got a point.
He's got a point.
I don't know how to describe all of this because it changes over time.
It does.
Right? And y'all see it and accept it for what it is. That's like, accept being attracted to it.
Yes.
I don't like this whole denial thing that we got going on. Like you like this masculine man that's standing up and he's doing all these things that's traditionally masculine. Okay, you're attracted to it. Be okay with being attracted to that.
Right.
I feel like we're getting to the point where, we're not supposed to like that, so I'm not gonna like it. Don't bandwagon.
putting your nose up to it, like I'm above all of that.
Yeah,
you like it,
but being the king's chamber smashing.
You like
Every damn day.
Or the prince chamber smashing.
That's right. That's right.
You like the guy with the sword on his shoulder. He looking around strong, like, I got this. You attracted to it, and that's okay.
Yes.
Be okay with it. Oh my God! Like, why we make so much out of this? I don't know.
Why can't they just love us for our minds?
I don't get it either. But my final thoughts on this subject of masculinity is it's a deep well to go down. There are so many levels to this to unpack. The toxicity that men put into this situation, the toxicity that women even put into it, because y'all aren't exempt from it either. Some of y'all enable toxic masculinity as well, in the same vein, right? We don't discuss that enough. One of the things I hate the most about this conversation is when people say, well, men created and uphold the patriarchy, so what are you gonna do? Right? Or act as if like a man is responsible for the patriarchy and toxic masculinity as a whole. No man that you have ever met is responsible for toxic masculinity. Let's be clear about that. Men in general are, but there's not one single man who is. Right? We inherit masculinity the same way that y'all inherit your femininity. You weren't just born with it, you learn it from people. Some aspects of it are intrinsic to you, but a lot of it you learn from other people, right? So as far as like that argument, I get sick of hearing it because we all play into the toxic side of each other's femininity or masculinity. Right? You hate toxic masculinity, but for some reason you love getting your fucking hair pulled.
Yeah, boy.
Where did that come from?
It's aggressive.
Why is that there? You like it though. Where did that come from? Do you have to now question your whole world? No, just admit that you like that. It's okay. It's not a problem, all right? You don't have to throw away all masculinity to accept that you like a little bit of this toxic side of it that might not even be toxic, you know? So that's my final thoughts, brother. What you got?
My final thoughts is that masculinity isn't inherently toxic. We got to get rid of this notion, because I'm starting to see that there's a lot of people out there that thinks that, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. What is it about masculinity that's wrong? I don't want to live in a world where being a man is wrong. Just simply being a man is wrong. That doesn't make any sense. And a lot of y'all that like masculinity is fighting against it, and it's kind of crazy because you like it. You love the aspects of it. You love seeing men in charge. You love seeing men leading. You love seeing strength. A display of strength. Why do you think they did what they did in Greece? It was just for men's purposes. Like, this is like a display of strength for women too. I am strong. I deserve a good wife, a nice. It's levels to it. This come from way back, and me and him might differ on a few things when it comes to masculinity. I think I'm more traditional. He's more modern.
Yeah.
But what I do think that we agree on is that the core of women, like let's say cisgender women, like straight women, enjoy the benefits of what they call toxic masculinity. What we seen happen with Chris Rock and Will Smith was toxic masculinity.
It was.
And people think, and I think a lot of women think that toxic masculinity only affects women. No, it affects men too. Look it up. Try it out. Call me a liar. Go look it up. It affects men too. And that's exactly what we seen on that stage. And what you saw as an aftermath was a lot of women saying, yeah, he wasn't wrong. Will wasn't wrong. Mm-hmm. He stood up for his woman, protected her honor.
Yeah.
A lot of men was like, that's toxic.
My people, up next, everybody. How do you handle a sassy 2-year-old?
That's wild.
Why? See how y'all enjoy that shit? So, stop all that complaining about toxic masculinity. Shut the fuck up is what I'm saying.
For shame, sir! For shame!
Just enjoy what you enjoy, what you like, and you don't have to complain about it, bro. Like, I don't know. That's all I got.
I guess.
That's all I got.
Yeah. So, thank y'all for listening to our ramblings once again. We're gonna leave that video in the description, of course.
Yeah.
Check it out. It is a really
the
good
whole thing,
conversation.
please. Yeah.
It's really good point. Everybody makes really good freaking points, and I think every man, even women, should watch it too, because it gives insight into how men feel about specific situations and specific topics. It's good. Check it out. But I'm your host, B. Ryder, co-host
J. Bell.
And this has been
Final Thoughts.
I'll grab the fucking remote.